If you I'll punch
before we begin.
Most definitely. There's no doubt. So just by the way, I'm the type you now.
You're telling us?
Didn't that Byakuya bastard?
Yeah. What you're really trying to?
No shit. You guys went off on your own and.
Huh? What does that mean?
Anyway. That must where we found the body.
Then, let's start with that mystery.
Why was Byakuya's body in a place like that?
His body was underneath the table.
At the very back. After the killer murdered they probably moved the body there.
Huh? Why? Obviously by hiding they tried to delay it like a dog burying a bone!
Why was Byakuya's body in a place like that?
His body was under at the very back of the...
After the killer murdered Byakuya, they probably moved the body there. Why was Byakuya's body in a place like that?
His body was under at the very back of the...
After the killer murdered Byakuya, they probably moved the body... No, that's wrong! No, I don't think the killer moved the body. Huh? Why? Try to remember what the...
So that's why you...
Byakuya was probably killed...
What? You think he was killed under the table?
So Byakuya snuck under the table for reason. Then, shortly...
That does make sense, but why did he go under the table?
Obviously, he was hiding so he could surprise us. That dude...
He was? You seriously couldn't tell what kind of person he was?
Maybe he panicked during the blackout.
It's a blackout, not an earthquake. Just because the power...
The reason why is... I can prove it with this! It probably has something to...
Knife? Oh! You mean that thing that obviously screams, I am the murder weapon!
Byakuya probably noticed the knife was hidden there. So in order to get it, he moved under the table.
He was particularly sensitive to the presence of dangerous items. But how did he notice that there was a knife?
If he knew beforehand, he probably would have done something about it before the Then, instead of knowing about it beforehand, maybe he saw it right at that moment.
No, that's not possible.
What? You seem rather confident.
Of course. I have proof to... I'm sure Byakuya ducked under the table during the blackout.
That sounds correct. If that's the case... During the blackout, he must have seen the kill, but it was super pitch black. It was so dark I couldn't see.
Byakuya couldn't see in the dark either. I doubt he could have seen the killer. I'm sure Byakuya ducked under
during the blackout. That sounds correct. If that's the case, during the blackout, he must have seen the killer, but it was super pitch. It was so dark I couldn't see.
Byakuya couldn't see in the dark either.
No, that's wrong!
No, Byakuya was
Why do you say that?
He was using those night vision goggles we found under the table. He could have seen what was happening.
So, are you saying Byakuya was the one who used those night vision goggles?
Yeah, that seems to be the case.
Your reasoning is out of focus. No, that's obviously wrong. Seriously? The killer used those night vision goggles, not Byakuya. If you just use common sense. The killer obviously used those night vision goggles. That's gotta be it.
Where's your proof that the killer used them?
Because if they used night vision goggles, then they could have killed Byakuya even in the dark. In reality, so those goggles were planned in advance. The killer brought them to the crime scene. Because if they used night vision goggles, then they could have killed Byakuya even in the dark. In reality, that's what happened. So those goggles were planned. The killer brought them to the crime scene. Because if they used night vision goggles, then they could have killed Byakuya even in the dark. In reality, so those goggles were planned in advance. The killer brought them to the crime scene. Because if they used night vision, then they could have killed Byakuya even in the dark. In reality, so those goggles were planned in... The killer brought them to the crime scene. Because if they use night vision goggles, then they could kill in reality. So those goggles were planned in advance. The killer brought them to the crime scene. Because if they use night vision goggles, then they couldn't kill Byakuya even in the dark. In reality, that's what happened. So those goggles were planned in advance. The killer brought them to the crime scene. Because if they use night vision goggles, then they couldn't kill Byakuya even in the dark. So those goggles were planned. The killer brought them to the crime scene. Because if they use night vision goggles, then they couldn't kill Byakuya even in the... In reality, that's what happened. So those goggles were planned in advance. The killer brought them to the crime scene. Because if they use night vision goggles, then they couldn't kill Byakuya even in the dark. In reality, that's what happened. So those goggles were planned. The killer brought them to the crime scene.
Allow me to cut through those words! No, Byakuya was definitely the one who brought those night vision goggles.
Definitely? But why?
Inside the Duralumin case Byakuya had with him during the party, we found a smaller case for storing the night vision goggles.
Which means we can assume that the night vision goggles were kept inside that Duralumin case as well. Woohoo! I said assume! Ibuki never uses such clever language.
Plus, Byakuya was the only one who could have taken the night vision goggles out of the case, since he was carrying it
Ooh! You totally...
I see! There was duct tape left under the table where the body was found. Huh? Duct tape? They probably hid the knife by duct tape.
Oh, so that's why we found duct tape there.
Though Byakuya was thorough, even he couldn't have noticed a weapon taped to the underside of the table.
This may be off topic, but why was Byakuya acting so paranoid? Not only did he bring a self-defense kit, but he...
That's true. He went above and beyond, being a little cautious.
Now that you mention it, that applies to the dangerous items he confiscated as well. It's one thing to be a little cautious, but performing a body check is a bit much.
He probably knew someone was planning to commit a murder.
Are you saying he predicted the murder? Could it be? Was he also...
You think so too, right, Hajime?
I can prove it with this! Everyone, can you please take a look at this?
Hey, the hell is this? Hajime and I found this in Byakuya's cottage.
It looks like a threatening letter someone sent for him.
So, who's the someone?
Nobody besides Monokuma would write such a dumb, threatening letter like that.
Wasn't me!
Are you sure?
The only lies I tell.
Those are still lies! Doesn't matter who wrote it yet.
He probably decided to throw a party because of the letter.
What do you mean?
By gathering everyone in one place, he tried to create a situation where everyone could keep... In doing so, he tried to put the writer of the letter in a situation...
But the letter might have been just a little prank.
As long as he was determined not to let any of us die, his strong sense of responsibility made him look...
He should have told us he received a threatening letter.
If he had, we would have panicked. Byakuya probably knew that too.
So, I see. Strong sense of responsibility as our...
Screw that noise! Who the hell wrote that letter?
Well, obviously...
Enough already! Show yourself, you...
If they were willing to come forward, they never would have committed a murder in the first place.
Pardon me. Can I say something, please?
What is it, Miss Sonia?
I regret that I must return to this topic, but I just realized something concerning the night vision goggles. If Byakuya was indeed wearing those goggles, how did the killer manage to navigate in the dark?
You're right. They wouldn't have been able to see anything without the night vision goggles. But if the murderer had the goggles when they took the knife, then how did Byakuya see them?
Even if the knife bore some sort of mark, it would have been...
I see!
What if the glowing paint was the mark? In actuality, the knife we found under... and the duct tape stuck to the underside of the table...
Does that mean the killer painted...
But painting them with glowing paint? It's as if they knew they had to have already known.
Peko killed poor Byakuya? Was this island not big enough for two glasses where...
Not the killer. Oh, I guess she's not.
How can you believe her so easy?
But with Peko's height,
I don't care about a technicality like that. Peko's the one who tripped the breaker and caused the blackout. Since Peko was in the office, she could have caused the blackout and...
That's impossible.
Huh? Why is it impossible?
Because I was not in the office. Not even before the blackout.
Since Peko was in the office,
She could have caused the...
That's impossible.
Huh? What?
Because I was not even before the blackout.
I agree with that.
No, I think Peko is telling the truth.
Don't tell me you're crushing on Peko.
It's nothing like that at all. Nekomaru's account is actually Peko's alibi.
It's true. Someone was occupying the bathroom for a long time shortly after the party started. And it was finally freed up after Byakuya's body was discovered.
Then the person who was in the bathroom that whole time was...
Everyone else besides Peko was in the dining hall after the party started, right?
I see. So there's no way anybody else could have locked themselves in the bathroom except Peko.
I guess that would be...
You locked yourself in the commode? You should have said so earlier.
There's no way she'd actually say that. Gosh, you're so insensitive.
If she locked herself in the bathroom for that long, there's no doubt. It's shit.
Hey, weren't you guys taught any basic manners? Or were you raised in a locker room?
I'm sorry.
It's fine. How about we stop talking about this and move on to something else?
Don't worry, the smell wasn't that strong. I used the bathroom right after you, so you can trust me.
I said it's
But still, you were in the bathroom for a really long time. Did you get food poisoning or something?
As soon as I stepped into the office, because of that, I was unable.
Hey, how did it feel? Seriously, stop it.
But still, your stomach pain.
Hey, what's the deal? Don't butt into other people's business, especially if you didn't do any investigating.
I'm only butting in because you fucking...
Stop this childish nonsense. Just what do you...
What I mean is it possible someone slipped her some laxatives? If so, the killer could have tripped the breaker as soon as that girl left the office.
I see. That might have happened.
Did you eat anything weird?
I don't remember eating anything weird. Now that you mention it... You brought food to the office, right?
Just a little bit from the...
There might have been some laxatives in it, don't you think?
Too cooked the food. How suspicious!
I wouldn't do anything like that!
Laxatives would
Ruin the taste!
Did you eat anything weird?
I don't remember eating it. Now that you brought food to the office, just a little bit from the...
There might have been some laxatives.
Too cooked the food. I wouldn't do anything. Laxatives would ruin the taste.
Did you eat anything weird?
I don't remember eating it. Now that you brought food to the office, just a little bit from the...
There might have been some laxatives in it, don't...
No, that's wrong!
No, it's impossible that laxatives were slipped into the food in the dining hall, because Pekka wasn't the only one.
If the food had laxatives in it, I'm pretty sure Akane would have had stomach issues as well. I feel totally fine.
I said the dishes are innocent. Don't go making weird...
I apologize for causing a scene. Fuyuhiko should apologize, not you. He's the one...
What the fuck did you...
Cease this bickering!
Let's just dismiss Pekko's stomachache as a coincidence. Yeah. We already know that, you trashy skank. Trashy skank? Who tripped the breaker and how did they do it? If you can't answer that, I'm gonna bop you on the head.
Did they throw a stone and hit it?
Maybe they used a remote control?
They probably messed with the breaker. It does not have to be the breaker. They may have tampered with the power supply and transmitters.
Crap!
Who tripped the breaker and how did they do it? If you can't answer that, did they throw a stone?
Maybe they used a remote...
They probably messed with the breaker. Who tripped the breaker and how did they... If you can't answer that, did they throw a stone?
Maybe they used a remote...
They probably messed with the... It does not have to be that they may have tampered with it, or maybe they caused a...
I bet it's really Monokuma's fault.
By the way, I'm not a trashy skank. Who tripped the breaker and how did they do it? If you can't answer that, did they throw a stone?
Maybe they used a remote control?
Probably messed with the breaker. Who tripped the breaker and how did they... If you can't answer that, did they throw a stone?
Maybe they used a remote control?
Crap!
We will never give up!
Breaker, and how did they do it? If you can't answer that, I'm gonna bop you on the head.
Did they throw a stone and hit it?
Maybe they used a remote control?
They probably messed with the breaker.
It does not have to be the breaker. They may have tampered with the power supply and transmitters.
Who tripped the breaker and how did... If you can't answer that, did they throw a stick? Maybe they used a remote. It probably not. It does not have to be the...
They may have tampered with the power supply and transmitters.
Who tripped the breaker and how did... If you can't answer that, did they throw a stone and hit?
Maybe they used a remote control?
They probably messed with the breaker. It does not have to be the breaker. They may have tampered with the power supply and transmitters. Or maybe they caused a power surge?
I bet it's really Monokuma's fault.
By the way, I'm not a trashy skank. Who tripped the breaker? I'm gonna bop you on the head! Did they throw a stone and hit it?
Maybe they used a remote control?
They probably messed with the breaker. It does not have to be the breaker. They may have tampered with the power supply and transmitters. Or maybe they caused a power surge?
I bet it's really Monokuma's fault.
By the way, I'm not a trashy skank! Who tripped the breaker and how did they do it? If you can't answer that, did they throw a stone?
Maybe they used a remote control?
Probably messed with the... It does not have to be the... They may have tampered with... Or maybe they caused a... I bet it's really By the way, I'm not a trashy skank! Who tripped the breaker and how did... If you can't answer that, did they throw a stone?
Maybe they used a remote control?
Who tripped the breaker and how did they do it? If you can't answer that, did they throw a stone?
Maybe they used a remote control?
Who tripped the breaker and how did they... If you can't answer that, I'm gonna bop you on the head. Did they throw a stone?
Maybe they used a remote control?
They probably messed with the breaker.
It does not have to be the... They may have tampered with... Or maybe they caused a... I bet it's really By the way, I'm not a trashy skank! Who tripped the breaker and how did they... If you can't answer that, I'm gonna bop you on... Did they throw a stone?
Maybe they used a remote control?
They probably messed with the breaker.
Crap!
Who tripped the breaker and how did they... If you can't answer that, did they throw a stone?
Maybe they used a remote control?
It does not have to be. They may have tampered with, or maybe they caused a power surge?
I agree with that.
It's just as Mahiru said. The blackout was caused by a power surge. course, that's not a coincidence. Someone caused it.
Which is why those 3 irons were arranged to cause the blackout.
When you found them right after the blackout, the irons were still on, right?
So by leaving those irons on in the storage room, they deliberately caused...
Yeah, it seems that's how the killer caused the black...
Stupid fool! Hold on a second, let me speak too!
What the heck?
You say the irons in the storage room were used to trigger the blackout? That's inexcusable! If the irons in the storage room caused the blackout, then for the killer to turn the irons on, you're saying they went all the way to the storage room? And that means everyone who was in the dining hall when the blackout occurred can't be a suspect.
I can't back down!
If the irons in the storage room caused the blackout, then for the killer to turn the irons on, you're saying they went all the way to the... And that means everyone who was in the dining hall when the blackout occurred can't be a suspect.
No, just because people were in the dining hall doesn't mean they're not a suspect.
But the people in the dining hall weren't able to cause the... If the irons caused the blackout... But the people in the dining hall weren't able to cause the blackout. If the irons caused the blackout... But the people in the dining hall weren't able to cause the blackout. If the irons caused the blackout... But the people in the dining hall weren't able... If the irons caused the blackout...
Allow me to cut through those words!
The irons are just one reason the blackout occurred, but they weren't the direct trigger. The direct trigger was when the air conditioners in the dining hall and office clicked on.
The air conditioners!
The timers for both air conditioners were set to 11:30 p.m.
11:30 p.m. Mr. Ham-Hams died around that time, too!
I see. When the timers activated the air conditioners, the breaker was tripped and caused a blackout. I see! I understand!
Indubitably?
They probably checked the old building's energy usage in advance and used the irons to nearly max it out. So once they set the air conditioner's timers, they just had to wait until they started.
If so, even if Pekka was in the office, it still would have been possible to cause a blackout, indubitably.
Indubitably? Miss Sonia, not you too.
Regarding the energy usage, they probably asked Monokuma about it.
dun dun dun.
Is she right? Such a hateful bear. You deserve to die.
1,000, you say? If I died that many times...
Shut up! You guys just stay quiet! I couldn't have prevented the blackout even if I was in the office. If I was in the office, I could have reset the breaker in time. And maybe the murder wouldn't have...
No, the breaker in the office was built into a high area of the wall that's impossible to reach. Resetting the breaker in that darkness would have been impossible, no matter what.
Sounds like you don't need to blame yourself.
Even so, the killer is so sly. I'm starting to worry we may never actually
It's alright. Because they're just a petty killer, right? They can't defeat symbols of hope. There's no way everybody will lose now. This little incident will just be a stepping stone for you all. In the end, hope always wins. That's what I believe.
Nagito? What happened to you?
Huh? What do you mean?
Well, you have been saying this whole time that there's no way a killer could be among us.
Oh, is that so? Well, let's just put that minor detail aside for now and talk about the incident. For now, we found out how the blackout occurred. But the question is, anybody could have hid and set the timers for the air conditioners. Setting up the irons in the storage room could have been done before Byakuya's... What a shame. Any one of us is capable of that.
What are you implying?
He's just saying, after all this time, we...